am Callie O'Donnell. I am the owner of a local Allstate agency here in Colorado Springs. And today I am going to be sharing some tips with you, some useful information about how you can most effectively save on your insurance. And specifically today we're going to talk about auto insurance. I'm here at the request of the Debt Free Squad, and we're going to see what we can do today to help you out with your insurance. Insurance is one of those things that is kind of like a necessary evil. We need to have it. It's very important to our financial stability in our lives. But we all know that in Colorado, insurance can be very expensive. In fact, on July 23rd, our Colorado Insurance Commissioner's Department did an announcement that I heard on 850 KOA talking about the cost of insurance in Colorado, and that we are actually one of the most expensive insurance states in the country. So this is really critical information, and how can we best make our insurance cost efficient. I want to talk about getting the best and the most affordable insurance rates. Now, I don't want to confuse getting the cheapest insurance and saving on cost with getting the best value on your insurance. So that's a real important piece right there that we want to talk about, because the cheapest may not be the best for you. We want to make sure that you have the most effective at the most affordable price. And there's some things that we can talk about to make sure that you can get the best price that you can for your insurance. There is no right answer for everyone. Everybody's needs are different. But here's one of the benchmarks, or kind of the foundation of how much liability insurance do I need. And I'm going to talk about liability insurance first, because it's the foundation of auto insurance. It's what is mandatory in the state of Colorado. There are state minimum requirements in Colorado, but they may not be the appropriate coverages for you. So first, let's talk about that. What are the state minimums required in Colorado? For your auto insurance, it's required that you carry $25,000 per person, $50,000 per accident for bodily injury liability. What is bodily injury liability? That is the coverage that you're carrying to protect you, so that if you are at fault in an accident, that's what pays the medical costs of the other drivers or the other passengers in the other vehicles. So the average number of cars in an accident in Colorado is 3. So if you're at fault, you have at least 2 drivers in those other 2 cars and potentially other passengers in there, right? So $25,000 per person with a maximum of $50,000 per accident is very low coverages. So here's what you need to look at. What is it that you need to protect? Because that's what it's all about, right? It's about protecting our assets. So you need to look at, if you own a home in Colorado, you need to look at the value of your assets, and that's where you need to be looking at what liability coverages you should carry. So the state insurance commissioner recommends the very minimum, if you do own property in Colorado, is $100,000 per person, $300,000 per accident. And again, that's only going to protect you up to $100,000 in liability. So in Colorado, we have what we call personal umbrella policies. You'll commonly hear them referred to as PUPs, personal umbrella policy. They can extend your liability coverage up to $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, $10 million, depending on your specific needs. That's something that you'll want to sit down and discuss with your own insurance agent to find out what's right for you. So that's kind of the Insurance 101 on bodily injury liability. Okay? The second piece of the liability that's mandatory in Colorado is your property damage liability. That's the coverage that you carry that's going to pay for the damages to other people's property. So if you're at fault, there's damages to somebody else's vehicle. It could be damage to somebody else's personal property, such as homeowners, if you had slid off the road and into somebody's fence. So there's all kinds of property damage. If you take out a electrical transformer, right, there's a big liability right there. So don't think just in terms of cars or autos, but property in general. In Colorado, the minimum that's required by law is only $15,000, and that is not enough. In fact, I have never and will never ever write a policy with $15,000 in property damage liability. What I typically will do is I'll write at least $100,000. Again, I'm thinking about if the minimum or the average number of vehicles in an accident is 2, and we need to replace 2 cars, they could be driving a higher end vehicle. So I want to make sure I'm taking care of you, because anything that exceeds the amount of insurance you have comes directly out of your pocket. So very important piece. And again, these are all specifics that you will talk about with your own insurance professional. So we'll set the liability piece aside. That's what's mandatory. That's what you must carry by law. Now we have the coverage for your vehicles, right? And that is your collision coverage and your comprehensive coverage. Collision is going to cover your vehicle for any damage that is done to it, with or without respect to whether you're at fault. Now, if you're at fault, obviously it's going to cover your vehicle, but perhaps you're in an accident that's not your fault. It's somebody else's, but they don't carry insurance. Then you've got coverage for damage to your vehicle as well. So that's your collision. So any damage that is done to your vehicle through an accident, by hitting or colliding with something, that's collision coverage. And you have deductibles. The deductible is the portion that you would pay. So if you carried a $500 deductible and you were in an accident, the insurance company would pay you less your deductible to fix your car. How do you know what deductible you want to carry? It depends. It's very different for every situation, but here's my generic answer to that. Whatever amount that you could pay out of pocket for that accident as a deductible is where you want to select that deductible. And here's why. Statistically, the chance that you're going to have an accident of which you need to use your deductible is fairly low, right? So we're going to be paying for insurance for many, many, many years over our lifetime. So what we want to do is we want to maximize the return on our investment. The higher your deductible, the lower your cost of insurance. Take that money and set it aside, the savings that you would have by carrying a higher deductible, and put it in a savings account. So here's an example. If you carry a $500 deductible today, what's the cost of a $1,000 deductible? Take the savings and put it into a savings account until you've saved at least that $500 difference, right? Between what you were currently paying at $500. Now you've got that money set aside to pay that additional deductible should you need it down the road, and you're saving money. So in my opinion, why pay the insurance company the money just so that you can be more comfortable with the what if I have an accident, right? Put that money aside and pay yourself. Here's your debt-free challenge of the week. I want you to contact your insurance professional. So if you are working with an insurance agent, this is very important for all of you who do have an agent. I want you to contact your agent and schedule an annual insurance review. I want you to review your coverages, make sure you have what you need, maybe remove what you don't need, and make sure that you're saving everywhere that you can save. For those of you who are working with an 800 number or internet only, I encourage you to shop around and find an insurance professional, somebody who can get to know you, your needs, and make sure that you are well protected. Come back for our next lesson, which we're going to be talking about property insurance, and we'll actually do a walk around outside of property and talk about some things you can do to help mitigate or protect yourself for potential hazards, and I'll give you some tips, much like on the auto insurance, about how you can save some money.